Hey y'all, happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, everybody. It is our favorite day here at the Connected Corner. I'm your girl, Tori Rose, the Connector, and I have the amazing and awesome privilege of bringing this show live to you with my favorite co-host, Miss Kiana B. How you be, girl?
Hey, live. Is it live and direct? Live and direct.
How about live and connected? How about that?
Hey, live and
Yeah.
connected.
Yeah.
Yes. Y'all better get connected.
Better get connected. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good. I've been taking trueness to our season,
Yes.
and I've been self-caring it. I mean, it's something definitely, like we said, it's important to do. It's necessary.
Yes, it is.
But I'm more intentional about it these days,
Yeah,
for sure.
almost certainly. I saw something today that made me think all about you. And it was the Southwest Airlines has now another kind of want to get away. It's like want to get away plus. And I just thought about, I was like, oh my God, Kiana's probably got, like $1,000 more her stock for her Southwest Airlines because of this move. And so for anybody who's just tuning in, guys, we are talking about self-care. It is healthcare. It is not selfish. That is our season topic for this season. And Southwest Airlines now has an additional option for you to purchase a ticket. So they always had the want to get away. I know we've done that. We're like, you know what you do on Tuesday? Nothing. Let's get away. We will go just find a flight and go, right? Well, now you can find a flight and go and enjoy some additional perks and privileges. And we are not being paid by Southwest to say this, but if y'all want to send us some money or sign us a check, you can go ahead and email bcg.manage@gmail.com or cash app us at $bcg.manage. Anyway, now that shameless plug is out the way, I can tell you guys about the benefit. Now, if you buy, let's say, a trip for you and your boo, and your boo gets sick or you get sick and you have to cancel the flight, you can actually now apply that person's flight credit to your own flight somewhere else. And why is that huge? It's huge because even me, I travel with my son sometimes, and there are times that his little schedule and my schedule may change and we both can't fly. I can't use his flight credit, although I paid for it because it's in his name. But now with Wanna Get Away Plus, I can literally cash in both flight credits because I paid for it with proof that I paid for it and use that towards a future flight. It's huge.
That's huge, especially since we just paid for 3 flights for 3 people
Yeah.
who wasn't us for Jamaica. So, like,
Yeah.
if something happens, just say, and those 3 people can't
Come.
come.
We can go visit our family in the Dominican Republic free on their flight fare. Yes. So that is exactly the benefit.
I was like, I don't know why I was like stumbling. So in case, because I don't want it to come across like I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited
But
about.
life happens. And if
Yes.
something happens, you now have the protection with the
Yes.
plus. So that is something to think about. And I will say this, because those flights were just purchased within the last 30 days, there needs to be a conversation with customer service to see if the difference, I think there may be $10 per each of those flights to convert it to the plus for those protections. And so that is your tip, your Tory tip of the day. Guys, if you are not traveling, if you are not taking the time to get away and actually balance your life in that way, if that's your thing, you're doing yourself a disservice. So I thought about Kiana. I said, oh, her stock has probably gone up. Let me get like $20. Let me borrow somebody's. So we are the Connected Corner, guys. Please make sure you go and you subscribe. If you are not subscribed and following us at the Connected Corner on YouTube, go to YouTube, type it in. It's all phonetic. The Connected Corner. Hit that bell. Make sure you click on subscribe. You want to be notified when we go live because we are always bringing you news and
resources you can actually use.
And so make sure you stay connected. We have an amazing guest tonight, and I am looking forward to this interview. I will say that I'm going to be doing all of this. So y'all know, this is not a Q or a code. It is the sinus allergy pain that I am feeling. Josh and I went on a road trip, and we were in 5 states in the last 3 days, and we're back in Baltimore. And I'm in Baltimore. He took a pit stop, but my eyes are burning. There's something in my
I was
eyes.
going to say, like, if people don't understand the difference and climate and like where you live and what's best for you as far as location. Like you can love where you're from. I love my city. I love Baltimore, but I'm just telling you, I've been trying to move for the last 20 years. And some of it is mainly because I'm supposed to be in warm weather. And when I travel and go other places, particularly abroad, my allergies don't bother me. At home, I'm taking like 2 allergy pills a day, and I carry an EpiPen, and I get allergy shots. Like I just want to get rid of all of that.
Been back home for 2 days, and I literally have taken I had to get a prescribed allergy pill rushed in. So I had to do that. Took that late last night. I've taken 2 maintenance allergy pills today. And my mom just said, "Is that your EpiPen in the trunk?" So it's life, and so we love being home, but when I'm on the road or I'm traveling and I'm in other places, I don't experience this. It's so strange. Right. So
one of our viewers, Facebook said, "Me too." Right.
It's
drop where you want to live. Drop where you want to live in the comments, right? It's about self-care. You got to take care of yourself. Get up, pack.
Put some eye drops in. I just didn't want them to think. I didn't want them to think while our amazing new guest is on and I'm doing this. I didn't want them to think that we were giving some type of subliminal cue, because it's not that type of show. We're not petty betties. I literally am struggling. So anyway, let's get into this self-care, healthcare for today. If you don't mind, go ahead and shout out our industry partner and mentor and friends. Let's go ahead and give him a shout out.
Yes, we want to give a shout out to our mentor, our media partner, Mr. Diamond K. If you have not followed him or subscribed, make sure you go to Diamond K Show. You can follow him on Instagram and all your social medias, and Radio on Fire TV. So check that out. You can check out the Connected Corner over there on Radio on Fire and all the other great shows that is on the platform. And so, hey, make sure you check them out, check us out. And I want to take a personal plug and privilege. I have on my...
I was going to say that. I was going to call my son's shirt out, but go ahead if you must.
Yes. So I have on my Cerritos College t-shirt. Shout out to the youngest in charge, the CEO, Mr. Kobe Owens. He runs track, for those who know, they know, for Cerritos College. Mm-hmm. And I'm in California now. I went to see him run in his first college state finals. Yes. And I'm such a proud mom. So I got this t-shirt and I'm so wearing it proudly.
I'm so happy. So when we got on the road, Josh was like seeing the different signs and he was like, "Oh, so we really aren't going to California?" He said, I said, "No." He said, "I thought you were surprising me." Like he thought he was going to see his brother. He like, "I'm really not going to California." No.
Right. He was like, he surprised me and came to Vegas. How we dare that?
Oh my God. So if anybody doesn't know,
Vegas was down the street. So that's
right. Vegas was down the street from where his brother is in California. So if you guys don't know, it's like, well, how y'all got the same kid? So she bore my child. Kobe is her youngest biological child. He is my oldest godson and cousin. So that explains it, because around Kobe's
what they got going on over there?
Right. Around Kobe's birthday, people were accusing us from being from West Virginia. Like, no, we don't. It's not that type of Kobe.
We are not sister wives.
We're not sister wives. Anyway, without further ado, because I am looking forward to tonight's interview. Oh, this amazing young lady. She is amazing. So let me go ahead and just cue her bio up. Tonight, we are going to be talking to the amazing, amazing, beautiful, inside and out Cassidy McCombs. Miss Cassidy is a native of San Antonio, Texas. I always want to say San Antonio, Maryland. San Antonio, Texas. She is an esthetician whose purpose in life is to help people by providing self-care services. She believes wholeheartedly that if you look and feel good, you'll do even better in your daily life. I believe that, Cassidy. Cassidy was not a girly personality type and was usually found outdoors working with her family's horses. As times passed, she felt the pressure to become more girly. We've all kind of been there, right? From climbing trees to getting curls. We've been there. And so she began experimenting with creating self-care products and regimens that she'd share with the women in her network. Always having an artistic flair, she enjoyed the creative process of developing self-care options. Cassidy, with direction from her now business partner, Becca, pursued her license in skincare. She's legit, y'all. She got her license, okay? And so she attended Paul Mitchell, the school where she dove deep into skincare academics and various skin conditions. I love her. I attest and stand by her and her products, she'sthebomb.com. She excelled in more aggressive skincare services and learned the art of waxing. She earned the Esty Bestie Award and graduated early in 2019. Now a licensed esthetician, she desires to work for dermatologists and plastic surgeons. However, she didn't quite have all of the experience she wanted or that she needed. So she applied to traditional spas to gain experience, and to no avail. She was directed to the European Wax Center because they like to employ newly licensed estheticians and train them in the European way. Why am I spending all this time in this bio? Because I want y'all to understand this young lady is not 35. She is not 45, not 55. This young lady is still a very young lady, but she is doing the darn thing. Oh, I'm so excited. All right, let me wrap it up so we can bring her on. Okay. She quickly rose in the ranks of EWC stores until the COVID pandemic, when she was let go because her employer was forced to close. We've all been there. We know that. But not long after that, she found Relax and Wax and started building her clientele. And guess who became one of those clients? I became one of those clients. Whoa. And so she's at Relax and Wax. She's building her repertoire. She's doing the darn thing. She meets Tori Rose. She is now with her own brand. In 2021, she founded the Texas Wax House. It's Halls. It's Haus. So she founded Texas Wax Halls and quickly established her brand. She soon set herself apart from the competition with a firm clientele base and a renewed energy for her future. She left Relax and Wax. See y'all, I'm gone. Peace. I'm on the bigger, better things and hair grease, okay? And so she is currently now, I'm sorry, y'all, I get excited about my esthetician, okay? I got excited. So she is now with Texas Wax House under the umbrella of Alternate Beauty SATX, which is San Antonio, Texas, which is a collaboration with Tania. And she works with Becca, because remember, Becca was the plug in the beginning, and she is working towards owning her own brick and mortar spa. Put your virtual hands together for Miss Cassidy McCombs. Woo!
Yes.
I get excited. First of all, I'm excited because my bio, I'm like 4,900 years old, and I'm just now getting this kind of bio. And so congratulations for just being such a self-starter and doing the darn thing and doing what it is God called you to do. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I am so happy to be here. When Miss Tori reached out to me and invited me, and I thought, I don't know if I'm the best candidate for this, being that I am a spring chicken. I am little, I'm young, and I'm a baby when it comes to this stuff. And I thought, oh man. And I said, you know what? With what I have, I'm going to bring my best to the plate, and I'm going to give them my all. And I wrote that bio, and I'm thinking, oh man, like, is it too long? Is there too much? I don't know what to give. And Becca was like, you know what, girl, you give them what you have, and they'll appreciate it either way. And I'm so thankful to be here.
We very much. And I'm happy to like see you and put a face, like meet you. Of course.
Yeah, put a face to the name,
heard
right?
all about you.
Thank you. I hope all good things.
All good things. Yeah. Now the only thing
things.
though, I'm gonna have to throw a flag on the play. I was looking for my little flag. Don't you call Miss Tori another time on this show?
I'm sorry. You know what? I call everybody that. And I know that sometimes it seems a little dated and stuff. I just, my mama and daddy, they raised me. And they were like, right. You always polite, always with the respect.
And you
But I promise, I'll call you just Tori. I'll just try to do it again.
And it's funny because it's not only is it respectful, it's the Southern hospitality. And so I met you in San Antonio, and it's everybody is Miss this, Mr. that, and it's so warm and welcoming. So thank you. But tonight we are peers, okay? So you call me Tori.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, though. Oh.
Thank you for being here. Kiana has heard all about you. When I first met you, I was like, oh, I met this young lady. Her name is Cassidy. I was like, and I asked her this and I asked her that. So people don't realize how much we lean on our estheticians and our skin care providers to be knowledgeable. You know, your skin is so important to you. And then I'll share with the world. So if you guys are just tuning in, we're talking to Miss Cassidy McCombs. She is the owner of the Texas Wax Halls. I keep saying it like that, Halls LLC. She does a myriad of services, but she is my Brazilian wax provider. So we are talking about very sensitive skin on top of skin, you know, skin care, but my skin down there care, right? And so it is very important to make sure that you have a trusted esthetician. So yes, Kiana has heard all about you. So without further ado, we're going to jump into this interview.
Absolutely.
We want to hear from you. What is your definition of self-care, and when did self-care become a focus for you?
That's a really great question. So my definition, I think self-care is a very broad term, right? Because for some people, self-care could be lighting candles and bubble baths and a bottle of wine, right? And for others, self-care can be doing a jigsaw puzzle, right? It can be many different things, whether it's letting your mind go blank or focusing in on something. But the important thing is that self-care is anything that you prefer to do away from your work life, because you've got your work life and you've got your personal time, right? But even when you're with family, you know, you're still engaging in something and it's active, right? So it's those activities that we do away that are personal to us. I started getting into self-care a long time ago, but I didn't really see it as self-care as much as it was beautification of myself, right? And, you know, when we change, what is it, middle school around that time, we're starting to figure out ourselves and we're like, oh yeah, feminine things. Okay. Let me curl my hair. Like you said, what was it? From climbing trees to curling hair.
Yep.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. But self-care really became important to me, after I really joined the workforce and I started experiencing burnout. And I'm thinking, oh man, you know, here I have given everything I've got to this license and entering this workforce, this industry. And it's quick to experience burnout in any industry that you do, right? But self-care is the key to stress relief and burnout, right? That's how we fix it. So that's kind of when I really started experiencing it. And then, you know, I did the bubble baths and candles, and I did the jigsaw puzzles and stuff. And so it was finding my niche of self-care and then filling that. And that was how I was able to, you know, kind of conquer that feeling.
Wow. Tori, you said, wait a minute, you're not that young, Cassidy. Like, I was sitting here listening, I'm like, whoa, just such a great answer.
Old spirit. Let me tell you.
Yes.
Old spirit.
I am the youngest sibling in my family, and my father has told me many a times that I'm the wisest one. And I'm like, well, I guess it must have been from seeing everybody else make the mistakes, and I'm too young to make that mistake. So I'm sitting there going, that's how you do that, huh? So yeah, no, I definitely, sometimes I feel a little wise beyond my years.
Without telling everyone your age, is it fair to say you're younger than 25?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Just to put it in perspective, she's an adult. We know she has some licenses, but she's younger than 25. Y'all do the math.
Wow. Yeah, you definitely, that's the perfect word or wise answer. It was I was like, that makes so much sense, you know, listening to it. Like, so part of like talking about that, and that was one of the things we've talked about, like even past, we've had other guests on our show recently. We had cosmetologists, hairstylists on who does that globally. And we found out, you know, all of that when you talk about the beautifying, right? When you're younger, it's like beauty. So I did my hair, you know, I washed today, I put some skin cream on, I did these things. And so those little things helped us feel better.
Yes.
But we didn't have a lot of responsibilities then. So like you said, once you
Yes.
get into working and now you're here and now it's like you got all these other things in life, it's like I need to do something a little more, you
Yeah.
know, for that stress relief. So do you think that is waxing a self-care must?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's definitely a self-care must. So in my specific niche of beauty as an esthetician, I do waxing and skincare, right? Some people view these as luxury services for those who can afford them, for those who have the time for them, right? And then I have most of my clientele base, these are necessities. These are must-haves. Yeah, these are non-negotiable. They will make time for their wax. They will make time for their moment that they get to have in the wax suite, you know, whatever it is that we're doing. And it goes beyond just the service as well as the connection, the connected cord, or the connection that you make with your esthetician. And I'm not going to lie, I don't have a ton of people that I see on the outside of my work. Most of my social interaction and my connections and relationships with people are with my clients, and I treasure that. I prefer it. But I would say that waxing is absolutely a self-care regimen. And it goes from your service all the way through the month and back to your next one, that you're taking care of yourself and your service and your wax all the way through until you come back. So I would say that it's absolutely, I believe, in my personal opinion, for my life, it's a necessity for me.
Most certainly. It's a necessity for me. And you know, I will
Me
be
too.
like, okay, wait a minute. Right. For us three, right?
Yeah.
It has been, I'm choosing my my words wisely because you never know who might watch the show. So for someone with the type of lifestyle I have, I travel for work, I travel for leisure. It is very important for me to know who is taking care of me, regardless of where I am. So if I am in the southern states, I want to know I'm going to Cassidy. If I'm in northern states, I want to know that I'm going to, you know, Sabrina, or, you know, but it's also important for me that you all have similar methods. You don't have to be the same, but you have to be similar, because my body wants to respond similarly to the services that are being done. Do you
Absolutely.
know how hard it is to find another Kathy or another Sabrina and then have you guys similar but 1,700 miles away? It's just it's an extreme. So when people say, "Oh, it's a luxury," it's like having a doctor. I can't just go
Yeah.
to any doctor, and I wouldn't, right? And so we're shifting the mindset, even with this series. With self-care is not selfish, it is a must. What do you think, or how do you believe the beauty industry has shaped self-care? You know, waxing was like a faux pas at one time, or like you said,
Yeah.
seen as a luxury. Do you
Yeah.
think beauty has shaped the self-care principles?
I believe so. When we hear the term self-care, you know, what are the first pictures that come to mind? They're usually having our nails done, going to the salon, getting our hair done, you know, getting a facial, especially. You get the quintessential picture of somebody with a mud mask and the cucumbers on their eyes, right? And I mean, like I said before, it can be a wide variety of things. But in terms of the beauty industry specifically, self-care, okay, let me say this. I watched on Netflix the show Self-Made recently. I forget the actress's name, but she was Miss C.J. Walker. And in the 1910s, she was a Black woman who rose from being a washerwoman to a self-made millionaire. And she made hair care products for other people of color. And so in this show, she's selling these products, and she's out at these open air markets, and she says, for all my fellow washerwomen and maids and all of the women who work their fingers to the bone, why don't you take a moment for yourself and apply these, you know, hair care products, because when we look good, we feel better.
Most certainly.
And that goes through and through.
Yeah.
I know when there's days that I look like I just rolled out of bed, and I feel icky and I don't like it, and then I'm a little more sluggish, right? But when we're beautiful, when we're presentable and we feel like showing ourselves to the world that day, we are ready to attack the day. Now, when it comes to the beauty industry, I mean, look at all the marketing. Look at all the models that you see. Look at all of the people. And I would argue that the beauty industry leaks into fashion, right?
Mhm.
So when we have those Victoria's Secret models, a lot of people don't feel recognized by these sorts of brands and marketing campaigns. But on the other side of that, when it comes to just cosmetology, it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter who you are, where you came from.
Yeah.
We don't judge you. We want to work on you. We want you to feel better. That's it, and it's starting to leak into those other beauty brands like Victoria's Secret and a lot of these high fashion brands.
That's a wonderful response. I just want to identify that is Octavia Spencer, who's playing Madam
I love her.
Yeah, and she also was in The Help, and she was in
Yes.
Ma, right? So most people know her now as Ma. But if you guys have not checked that out, many people have heard of Madam C.J. Walker, but most people have never seen this side of her. So thank you, Cassidy, for bringing it up. It is a really historically accurate and true, well, from what we know, true depiction of not only just the work that she did, but her personality. So I think that's what you spoke to as well, the personality. So check that out on Netflix. Octavia Spencer is Madam C.J. Walker, and the name of it is Self-Made.
Yes. Yeah, that was a fantastic show to see a woman, especially in that time period, a woman of color, to do what she did. I mean, I binge watched that entire show in one day. I was like, yes, this is what I'm here for. This is the type of woman that I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah, I watched that too. It was I binge watched the series, the Netflix series, and it is something. And I think also from the perspective of just entrepreneurship, it just touched everything. Like I learned so much, as an entrepreneur, and it just showed you, like you said, in a time like that, what she was able to do, we can do even more now, because we have, more freedoms, more liberties, more resources, there. We're still pushing, because we know that women in minority business still get less loans and, less help in some areas, but it's more than what it used to be. And I also like how a lot of times, like women entrepreneurs, we bond together, right? We bond together to help and support, because, it is harder for us when it comes to establishing those brick and mortars and getting the business loans that others are more easily able to get. I wanted to say, I want to make a point, definitely, when we're talking about healthcare, or self-care is healthcare, with the waxing. And I was like, me too. Like we got the Me Too movement with waxing, but truly for me, I have to get waxed. Like that is an order from my gynecologist, because I am unable to use any other method. And so I've tried other methods, none of them work. And she's like, okay, yep, throw all that away. You can't use it. And so for me, it is a health, I was going to say a life or death situation. I don't think I'm messing with her. Like, it feels like life or death. It felt like life or death when I was get a little personal here, but
well, maybe to your sex life, right?
Yeah,
life or death to your sex life.
Yeah,
every time it's time for Boo Bay, he got to pull out a lawnmower.
It's like, what can we do here? Like, I can't use these razors. I got to figure out something. And I was scared at first. I was really nervous. But then like now it's like, I can't imagine any other way. Like, honestly. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, for those who are on that, fence about it, what advice, can you give for people who are new or interested, like, in being waxers? Like, what advice can you give for them? Because some, it could be a little nervous.
In being waxers or getting a wax done? Okay.
Being waxers.
Yeah, so
and getting a wax done. I want to hear both.
Both, right?
Well, for being a waxer, I think This one for me is why I view myself as a very, very good candidate, like perfect for the role of being a waxer. You need to be compassionate. You are dealing with women, men and women, who are in a vulnerable position, firstly, and you're working on an area that honestly, growing up, I think a lot of women are told that they don't look correct down there, or their anatomy isn't right, or, that there's a smell or this and that. Let's be real. The vagina is a self-cleaning oven. All right. She is the creator of life and your first gate to the open world. Have a little more respect for it, I think. I think. But you have to be compassionate. These women are coming to you in a vulnerable place. They've never had it done before. And you are the person, you are the professional who is going to protect them and keep them comfortable during this experience. You never want to have a bad experience waxing ever, And I understand sometimes things happen and stuff. Waxing is not perfect by any means, but you, as the waxer, need to be ready for anything to happen, and you need to be educated enough to instruct your guest on, what's going on and how to take care of it, and just being comforting and personable and talk to them. I can't tell you how many times I've had somebody come in and say, "Thank God you talked to me," because I was imagining of just laying there, spread eagle and just staring at the wall. And I'm like, oh, no. If that ever happened to me, I'd be like, kindly, I'm closing my legs. Thank you very much. How much do I owe you? So for waxers out there, don't be afraid. Don't be scared. When you first start waxing, it seems so daunting. I understand. You're hurting people. It's not comfortable, right? Don't be afraid. I promise you, you're going to make it. It's very fast learning. Experience comes like that when it comes to waxing. As long as you've got your base education, right, what they teach you in school, and your training on top of that, you're going to be okay. When I worked at European Wax Center, there were a lot of girls who came through and got the job and only lasted maybe a week because they were like, I'm scared. I'm uncomfortable. What if I do something wrong? Don't beat yourself up. It's okay. You have professionals here. And when you're doing training, you've got a girl who's been waxing for years behind your back, right? She's there and she is going to make sure that everything is okay for you. And we do a thing when we're training is we ask for models. Get your friends, your family, whoever is ready. And I many times have been waxed by a girl training over and over and over again because I'm like, I don't want you to put your hands on somebody if you're not comfortable doing it yet. But go ahead. I'm fine, So I think for waxers, don't be afraid. It's going to be okay. You're not going to hurt anybody. You may think like, whoa, what if I take off a whole eyebrow? You won't. I promise you won't. You're being hard on yourself. Forgive yourself a little bit. Give yourself a little patience. You deserve it too. Now, for first time getting waxed, It's terrifying. I don't know if y'all remember your first ever experience and you're thinking, oh my gosh, what is this esthetician going to be like? Is she going to judge me? Is she going to be rude? I mean, just personality wise, there's that.
Call out the scary stuff. Am I going to pass gas? Am I going to pee?
Yeah. I remember the first time I ever got a Brazilian and we got to the back door area and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, a warm liquid there. That don't feel right. That doesn't feel right. And I'm like, is everything okay? And she's like, yeah, it's fine. So my name's Cassidy and I'm not going to lie. I've had this nickname growing up. It was Gassy Cassie. And my sister-in-law, who also waxes, she would do my Brazilian and she's like, man, you really live up to the name. And I'm like, I'm trying to give you, I'm trying to help you. Okay. So being a waxer, I get waxed. I've done it. I've seen it. It's fine. So for anybody who's first time, don't worry, do some research on your esthetician. Make sure she's good. Talk to your friends. See who they get waxed by. Do they trust them? Your best ever bet is going to be somebody that you trust and love who is going to point you in the right direction, right? Because they're not going to go to somebody if they're uncomfortable with, right?
So this episode is brought to you by Tums and Gassy Cassie.
That's right, girl. That's right. You know what? I wear it. I wear it on my sleeve. I wear it on my cheek.
So you are not alone. You are not.
No. And here's the other thing. I think another reason that me and my clients have such an amazing relationship is I'm a total hot mess. And I am that all the way through and through. And I will never pretend to be this perfect girl who's got it all together, because I'm not. And you're not alone. And I will share those embarrassing stories with you, and we will laugh about them, and it's fine. You know what? Because somebody else has laughed so hard that they peed themselves too. If they say they haven't, they're lying.
Did you point at me, Tori?
No.
She was like, I know we're all okay. I know we're all, it's live, right? We're all here. We're looking at each other. But I was like, did she point at me?
I'm like, you're right. You're right.
Somebody has done that. And I don't think anybody's perfect, and I don't ever want to be perfect. You know what? I was made with my gassy flaws, and that's fine. I'm fine just like that. But
well, I tell you have helped me. I know when I first met you, you probably like, this lady's so uptight. Most people think I'm like this super fun and warm and bubbly person. If you meet me in person, I'm really just not. Like, I'm so about my business. I'm always in my head, in my thoughts. I'm in and out. I've been knowing you for at least a year now, I feel. It's probably a little over a year.
A little more, yeah.
Yeah. And so, it took me some time to warm up. Most people are like, you're the connector. You're always talking. I'm really not the extreme extrovert. Kiana's actually the fun one, right? So people get us confused a lot because it's like, well, you're the connector. Yeah, but I am not. I'm like this, I'm in and out. I'm goal oriented. And so you helped me just kind of soften up. And the fact that you did talk, I'm going to be honest. I was like, now I don't think I stink. Thank the Lord, right? Good pH here, but to be in a vulnerable situation like that and have somebody just talking the whole time, girl, yeah, so I did I'm like, you're not smelling me? I've really never, in the entire time that I've waxed, and in last year alone, I did almost 3,000 Brazilians, only Brazilians. Wow.
It was amazing when I saw that number. I was like, wow, cha-ching, let me do 4,000 next year, Yes.
That's a lot of vaginas.
It's a lot, but I have never met a woman that was not right, and I've worked on women who had complete reconstructive surgery because they were in a horrible car accident. And I'm still like, yeah, work it, girl. Yeah. No. And I remember first meeting you, and I'm like, oh, maybe she doesn't like me, because you were definitely go, go, go. But then at the very end, you thanked me, and I was like, that is one gracious woman. I hope I see her again. And thankfully you've stayed around, and I'm very thankful for that.
Oh, yep. You're family, honey. You're family. Even, it's funny because when I mentioned to Kiana, I'm like, I'm, think about inviting, Cassidy to be a guest. And I think she would be really good, a good fit and all of that stuff. And anybody who knows me just knows I don't poop where I eat, right? Which means I don't like cross my worlds a lot, so I have these worlds over here and those worlds over there. So once you cross into this world, you are family, honey. You are stuck with us like furniture. And so speaking about that, I have to have certain routines. The way my world is, the way my life is, and my waxing is in that routine. And so how important do you think it is for an individual, male or female, to have a wax routine? And then are there like ramifications for falling out of the routine? Like, does it get hard to get back into your waxing routine if you fall off?
Those are really great questions. So I do all mediums of hair removal. So I do waxing, soft and hard wax, and I do sugaring as well. When people ask me, are there real differences? Sure, in the technique and in the product. But when it comes down to it, it's always personal preference. You have a certain hair color you like to have, or you have the way you like to cut your hair, the way you like to do your makeup, the way you like to get your wax is also personal preference. Sorry, excuse me. I've been drinking this carbonated soda over here.
It's all right. Let your guest do what it's going to do. I'll tell you guys, she's right, because I started just a standard waxer. I believe it's like a standard, like soft wax, or how, you can clarify if that's the correct. But I prefer sugar wax.
Yeah, and I have many guests who do that, who will switch from one to the other. Say I'm working on somebody and they're very heat sensitive. That's okay. That's fine. Some people love boiling hot baths, and other people like lukewarm. That's cool. So my wax is never warm enough to actually hurt you. But if you're heat sensitive, it doesn't matter because it's uncomfortable, and that's what matters, right? And so sugaring is about body temperature, if not just a touch warmer, but definitely not uncomfortable by any means. So I always recommend, hey, maybe we try that. And they say, I didn't even know sugar was a thing, because it hasn't really reached Southern Texas yet the way it has in New York and on the East Coast and on the West Coast. And so I'll introduce them to that, and they're like, whoa, mind blown. That's it. They're sugarists now. They always. And then vice versa, other people who are like, I just want it to be done so fast, and so they go from sugaring to waxing. They're like, you know what, it's faster, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Cool. It's always personal preference. So is it important to have a waxing into your routine? I think depending on your preference and what you think about body hair, because some people, they don't mind having it at all. And that's cool. That's fine. And other people are like, if I can feel my leg hair on the sheets, it's time. We got to go now. So it's important to each individual to what they prefer to do. Can you repeat the second part of that question though, baby?
No worries. So are there like negative implications? So I'm on, like, I think I come every 3 to 4 weeks, right?
Yeah.
So what if I said, I'm just going to wait 12 weeks? I know what the negative implication would be for me personally, but are there any kind of negative ramifications or implications if a person falls out of that routine?
Yeah. So the reason that your first wax ever is going to be your most uncomfortable one is because those hair roots have never left the body before, right? So they're real embedded. They're deep. They're rooted in there. So that's why it's the most uncomfortable your first time. Now, when you come back every 4 weeks, let me backtrack a little bit. Every time that we remove that hair from the hair follicle, we damage that hair follicle, which is why every time you get waxed, less hair grows back, and that hair grows back softer, smoother, and sparser, right? Just not as much. And I tell that, I had a first-time guest today, and I said, you are going to be amazed. This is only your first wax. I said, you're going to be amazed. 4 weeks, come back to me, and you're going to see half of the hair, if that. It's amazing. Now, we have to discuss the stages of hair growth. So you've got anagen, catagen, and telogen. So at anagen is where our hair root forms, and there's blood supply to that root. So when we wax, sometimes there can be pinpoint bleeding, and that is only because there's blood supply to that root. Blood supply provides nutrients, provides strong hair, right? That's when we eat, we get strong muscles. Catagen is when that hair is growing off and the blood supply breaks off, right? And it's a maturing hair. Telogen is when that hair is fully mature and it sheds, because that naturally happens. So when we wait 12 weeks to get it, that hair root has been able to sit in deeper. That blood supply has been able to nourish that hair and give it nutrients, and so it's stronger. So you might experience a little more discomfort when you come back for your wax. But other than that, it's not going to like ruin anything by any means. It just might be a little more uncomfortable whenever you come back. But again, tell your esthetician that. Talk to her and say, it's been a minute, and don't apologize for how much hair you have. Don't apologize. That's why we're in business, girlfriend. But tell her, say, I haven't been here in a minute, so I might have a little more hair than usual. And they'll usually custom their waxing pattern to it, so they might make a little smaller pieces just so it's a little more comfortable, a little more bearable.
I love it. So look, y'all, you guys, Wait a minute, I gotta get my words together because I'm just sitting here. It's like one of those. Always know when it's like a really good show and a great guest because I forget that. I feel like
she's a host. She's watching the show.
Oh,
I'm like watching the show. Like this is so good. Like
so while you're getting your thoughts together, I'm going to remind everyone, please, if you're not currently following us, go to YouTube and subscribe. We want to make sure you do that. Type in the Connected Corner, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell so you can be alerted when we go live. If you are not following us on Instagram, go over to IG and type in the Connected Corner. It's all phonetic from Connecticut. It's all phonetic. There are no hidden Q's or K's. So go ahead and just type in the Connected Corner and follow us on Instagram so you can stay abreast to us in our season and our guests, and you can get connected to the amazing people that we are connected to. All right, Kiana, what was your thought?
Yes, thank you. That goes right into the segue of Cassidy, you're amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, sorry, Kiana. Sorry. See, I'm sorry. That Southern girl in me.
No, it's fine. I laughed when you first said it. I was like, oh, Tori just cringed when she said, miss. And I think, it's not one of those things like, hey, look, I'm aging gracefully. I actually enjoy, getting older at some points as I feel like you get wiser and things get better as you get older.
I can't believe
it.
Yeah. They get better. Okay.
My grandmama and her girlfriends and my aunties told me that, and they were like mid-50s around that time, maybe 16. They were in there talking. I was like, what? And this is appropriate. We're talking about our area, like you say, respect the vagina, like respect it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, what? No. And it was like, honey, please. As you get older, it gets better. And I mean, I'm in my 40s and I can attest. I can't wait to 50s and see what the 50s gonna look like.
She enjoys being able to tell people she'll be 50 soon because they're like, how? Like, yeah, and then it's so petty because there is an age difference between the two of us, right? She's my older cousin. And so then they look at me and they say, and you're 50 what? I'm not 50 nothing. I'm pushing 40. She's pushing 50. And then they're looking at me like, oh yeah, you look age appropriate. Like
silly. But Tori said, you guys, look, this is a great show. If you have not shared, hey, there's still a little time left in this hour, but you can always go back and watch the replay, still share it with your friends, your families, your friends, your girlfriends, your partners, whomever. Because, this is news and resources that you definitely going to use. And we're not just talking about the skincare and waxing. Look, I'm going to call it Miss Cassidy is giving us some education here. Okay. Yeah. We just learned about the follicles and the blood and the nutrients. Y'all didn't even know all of that. Mm-hmm. So when we tell you, we bringing you news and resources, we are, because I didn't know any of that.
There's something else I would like to bring up. Across the United States, all waxing prices are going to differ. And I love talking to, I think I asked you, Tori, one time, what, you would pay for a wax in Maryland, because across the United States, prices are going to differ completely. And it's amazing whenever I get a guest who's from out of state and I ask, what is the normal waxing price, that you would pay? And I get all kinds of answers. So definitely look into the estheticians that are around you, that are local to you. I always say support your small businesses. Somebody who's like me, who has just their own little thing. It's just their brand name and them, and bam, that's who you got, but definitely support them. And look into your local estheticians and the services they're offering and what are the pricing, because you'd be very surprised at what you can find around you.
That's very true. And don't say it like you're in the bathroom stall in the back. I mean, cleanliness, sanitize everything, clean. Like I trust you. So if anybody knows, you got to trust that person, especially in your down there care, because Lord forbid you get a bump from being in the back of somebody's truck stop, getting waxed on the side of the road. Then you got to explain it to your Mr. Sir. And it's like, no, I just, so the point I'm making is we do get what we pay for, but understand that if it's a little less expensive, if it's a little more affordable, that doesn't always mean it's less in quality.
That's right.
I appreciate
right.
you bringing up that point because Kiana and I are both financial advisors. Kiana is a financial guru. I'm just someone who took some financial tests and passed some tests and have some certificates to say I can talk about your money. Budgeting in my budget for my wax care, my budget is no more than $110 a month. That was based on Northeastern prices. Going somewhere where the cost of living may be a little different, where I could actually adjust that budget line item and I could take that difference and maybe put it into gas or savings or tithes in church or my child, that was
Mhm.
beautiful. And so, what I want to say is, and I'm a tipper, I will say this too, don't go get your services done and not tip your esthetician. Tip your esthetician. Even your stuff might have been the one the pH was wrong. She was still talking and acting like the pH was right. Or she's a small business owner and she has to pay for marketing costs or over tip your esthetician. So when I met you and I realized that there was a significant cost savings, there was no thought about the tipping. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna definitely tip because I'm saving and I even get to put a chunk of that back in my budget and to disperse in other things. So great point, thank you for bringing that up. And it's important not to compare apples to oranges. So now if I'm in New York or if I'm in Baltimore or if I'm somewhere in the cost, there's a differential cost difference, not to be like, well, when I'm in Houston, when I'm in San Antonio, that's not the point. The point is understand that in different markets there will be different cost points and budget and prepare for that esthetician and plan to tip. Okay, I'm off my soapbox. Thank you for bringing
No. I mean, that's important. I think people forget that, we do it in service industry, right? To your service when you're going out to eat and things of that nature. But even more so, you should do it for those who provide you personal service, with your self-care, with your body, those things. And so I think that's important to bring that up because some people don't tip their stylists, their estheticians and masseuse, things that you may do for your self-care. So Cassidy, like we've talked about all the different things that go right, some things that go wrong, and but what advice do you give for people who may have had a bad wax experience to return to waxing? Hey, maybe it didn't go well the first time, but what advice would you give them to try it again?
Yeah, absolutely. I've even been there where, I finish a wax and I feel very defeated and I'm like, it didn't go the way I wanted it to. Of course, no injuries or anything like that, but you just feel like, and I promise your esthetician will feel that too. If they're worth their weight in salt. Sometimes bad experiences happen and they happen anywhere. Maybe you got a bad haircut or something, but try again. Always try again. You don't have to try with the same person. I understand that if you have a bad experience, you want to get that nasty taste out of your mouth as quick as possible. I'm there with you. But go somewhere else. Now, if you're more comfortable with it, you could try a chain like European Wax Center or Waxing the City. I recommend going with a small business owner because go on their Instagram and you will see their work, right? So you can kind of gauge what are their strong suits, what aren't. Now, here's another thing is I primarily specialize in Brazilians. And I personally am not that comfortable with asking my Brazilian guests, like, can I take a before and after picture? Firstly, I don't think that that's really appropriate sometimes. It really depends on my relationship with that person. But that's a very vulnerable area. Some people don't want a picture there. I get it. So don't always judge the Instagram content for what they can do. Look at their reviews, right? Look at, I went and got a Brazilian from so-and-so and it was so amazing, blah, blah, blah. Look at the way that they do other body waxing, especially look at like underarms because underarms are strong hairs just the way that it would be in the Brazilian area. So check out that. If you had a bad experience, I say try again. I always tell my first time guests, get your second wax, always, because you will see the very noticeable difference in discomfort from your first time with that deep-rooted, never been touched hair to that hair that was waxed 4 weeks ago. And it's like butter on warm toast, girl. It comes off like nothing, you know?
It does. It does. I want to cut you off for 1 second because you bring up a very good point. I was running for office a few years ago, and before I met Sabrina, I had gone to a young lady. Of course, won't call her out. She was amazing, but she did not know that I did not want the before and after pictures of my vajayjay on social media or online. And so just one day I'm referring her to someone and I'm scrolling and I'm like, ooh, that is mine. Ooh, 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 that is mine.
Oh, man.
Do you remember that, Takiana?
Yeah, because that's why I was like, oh no, I can't. I don't want my house. And she was like, you don't have to have it. That literally actually deterred me initially because I was like, they take pictures of your no, we can't have that.
I had agreed to the picture, but not the posting. I guess I didn't. Again, I'm a little older than maybe people assume, right? And I'm a little more settled than people assume. And so when she said, well, I asked you, could I take the picture? You didn't ask me, could you post it? So that was the difference in communication. I don't know what I thought she was going to do with the picture. Keep it in her own repertoire. I don't know. It was like the first
like
time
you going to pick your color.
Pick the one you want. That's what I thought she was. You walk in and you have a catalog. I don't mind being in your catalog, but could you get it off of social media? And because I have on one of my legs a very noticeable tattoo. It's huge, right? And so the way the picture was taken, you could see the tattoo. And I was just like, God, I'm going to be elected the councilwoman. And Makuta Cat is going to be in City Hall before I get there. She was very professional. She took it down. Yeah. She understood my perspective. And I went back to her. I eventually stopped going to her just because she moved. So I don't want anybody to be like, girl, she was talking about you on her show. But to anyone who's listening, have that open and honest conversation and be real with what your boundaries are, because I was petrified. Like, oh my goodness.
Oh, absolutely.
Baltimore is a town. It's not a city like San Antonio or Houston with 2-3 million people. There's only 600,000 people here, and not many of people had seen Makuta. But that day,
I'm really sorry that happened, and yeah, there's definitely a communication barrier. I know that I was having this conversation yesterday actually with a guest that kids are on social media now, right? I want to have a very family-friendly page. And even though obviously for Instagram guidelines, certain areas would be covered up, I still, I'm really torn because on one side, I want young girls to understand like hair is normal. Don't be ashamed of yourself. But on the other side, I want to say that I want a very family-friendly area, a very modest, and very tasteful, right? So that's why I generally, and I've worked on you however many times, and I've never been like, oh, even though I feel comfortable enough to ask, I don't know. I would
let you do my before and after. So if you want my kudo on your page, that's fine. I'm also not running for anyone's office and no one knows me there. Right. So it's a little different. No one's going to say, I know that tattoo. People had seen my tattoo. They hadn't seen my kudo up until that point. So, it's also about, again, where we are professionally. Right. Mm-hmm. And so the fear of not understanding that anyone could scroll through and see, I also know you and your creativity, you would be intentional about making sure there's no identifiable pieces of the person.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. I actually have a guest who has tattoos right there where I wax. I would never ask her because those are her identifying marks. It's like having a birthmark, right? And you just never know, what if her brother is scrolling on Instagram and you're like, wait a second, I know that birthmark. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be the reason that Easter was ruined. I don't want to be it.
Right, because if it's a brother, brothers, he been and passed it around.
He's gonna say something. He's gonna say something. My brother can't keep his mouth
like,
shut.
"Mom, did you guys see this?
Yeah.
So I can only.
I don't want to make an awkward Thanksgiving conversation happen. We want to keep everything moving along, and that's another thing for estheticians. Not only do you need to be compassionate, you need to be respectful of boundaries and privacy. And you never, ever, ever talk about suggestive things with other guests. Ever. What you say is confidential. What you talk about is confidential. I've had women come to me and tell me, very sad things like that they just found out their husband is cheating, or that she's cheating on her husband. And I'm just there like, well, I don't really want to be an accomplice, but here I am,
Right.
You gotta respect the privacy.
It's
client.
What is it? Client, patient, privilege, client.
Yeah. I call them guest clients. Between the doctor and the patient. There's the confidentiality. Doctor. You need to be confidential. That's just the way it is.
I like that, and I was listening, and I like that you use the term guest. I like that.
Yeah, I feel like client has this, in my mind, I see a brick wall between somebody and a client. But me and my guests, we have the most fun. Yeah. We're enjoying it. We're laughing and giggling and talking and just having a ball. So I would honestly journey to say friends, but again, I'm just your waxer. I understand I only see you once a month, but you're special to me,
Right.
So, and I'm very, very honest with them. They know what's going on in my life. So I'll have people come in and say, "Oh, how are you and your man?" And I'm like, "You remember, and we're great. We're doing blah, blah, blah," or something, and I like keeping in touch with them. So I would say that we're friends. Maybe professionally friends.
Cassidy, are you Aquarius?
No, ma'am, but my man is.
I'm
a Scorpio, actually.
Oh, you're one of the friendliest Scorpios I ever met. I'm sorry.
Yeah. My parents are, my mother's a Scorpio as well, and my dad is a Virgo, but they always instilled in me to be very polite and very respectful. And I hold that to a very high standard.
Somebody says Scorpios aren't mean. I don't necessarily use mean, but like just
they're normally introverted, very introverted.
Yeah.
I am.
Is your boo? Your boo is born. Is that the one who was born on my birthday? Is his birthday 24?
Yes.
Yes, I remember that. Hey, boo. Hey, friend.
Yeah. He's over there petting cats.
Oh, that's so interesting. But no, I'm not that same. My dad's a Scorpio. We have a really good relationship. Like, he's real laid back and cool. Always been real chill.
I think that's kind of a very strong characteristic of Scorpios, is that we're very laid back. Mm-hmm. We're very go with the flow and chill. It's you can tell me anything. Don't tell me you killed somebody, but you can tell me anything, and generally I'm like, yeah, wow, awesome, cool, and just do my thing.
She said, "I'm gonna be an accomplice, but I don't look good in orange, so don't tell me that." So look, we're at a very fun part of the show. We're a little over an hour, but I want to do this part of the show because I like to see Kiana if she can get her key question. So
get my key question.
Key question is coming up.
Yes. So you guys know this segment. Don't be nervous, Cassidy. Don't be nervous. Okay. She was like, "What is about to happen?" No. So this is keys questions. This is a tongue twister. I can't even say it myself. And so in this segment, it's literally 2 minutes. So you guys, stay with us for another 3 minutes, and then we'll be done. So we'll do this. This is the nearing end of the show. And so I will ask you 3 questions. Okay. And you'll have 2 minutes to answer all 3 questions. And we'll have my little handy dandy timer here.
Okay.
right? And I will start the timer after I read the first questions. They aren't really difficult. It's fun. It's a fun little game. And we're going to drop the questions in the comments, guys. So if you're watching now live, if you're watching on the replay, we still want to know your answers. Drop your answers to your key questions in the comments. All righty. So the first question is, what's something people seem to misunderstand about you? So what's something people seem to misunderstand about you?
Oh, that's a good question. See, I'm an open book all the way through. Maybe this is something. I would think of myself as an intellectual. I love trivia. I love playing Jeopardy. I love learning. So I think people see me as an esthetician and they think, oh, she's beauty school. Like she probably doesn't care too much about academics. That's not true. I love it.
That's actually good. That's probably something, yeah, people do. Okay. 2, if you could have a billboard with anything on it, what would it be and why?
Forgive yourself.
Oh.
It would be that, because I think you need to find the humor in every little part of your life. And I would say, forgive yourself, laugh. It's okay, because people have made worse mistakes, and it happens. Life happens. Forgive yourself for what you may think is a mistake, but it really probably isn't.
That's actually nice. That would make me smile if I saw that on billboards as I was riding past.
Yeah.
And last, and you have like 60 seconds. What do you do for self-care?
Oh, that's a good one. I have a nightly ritual. I actually listen to documentaries I use YouTube Premium, not plugged, but I wish it was. I use YouTube Premium so I don't get ads, and I listen to documentaries on all different kinds of things. Lately, I was really into World War I, and I play Mahjong, actually, on my phone. Yeah.
Oh.
So it's my way of checking out mentally, and that's what I call it. I say, I'm checking out. I'm going to be 50 miles away from here, so please don't talk to me because I won't be able to answer you. I won't know what you said, and I'll do my puzzles. I was doing jigsaw puzzles for a few years, and that's how I go to bed every night. Every night I do that.
Wow, that's awesome. And no wonder you and Tori get along so well. You're a girl after her own heart.
She is.
She's just smiling. She's just over there just grinning his eyes.
And because it is a balance, right? Like I love intelligent people. I'm also a history major, but I've learned some things I didn't know about the barbacoa. We talked about barbacoa recently, and I was like, oh my God. And then I went home and I was like looking it up and asking people, and I was like, oh geez. So you teach me something every time we talk, and every time we meet, and every time we're together, even if it's something super small, or something about my diet or just anything. And when I found out that you like trivia, I was like, oh, we can go on a game show together. I was all super excited.
I love trivia. So if there's any like trivia games, Jeopardy, again, I say I love doing it. My dad, he studied political science, and he is a huge American history buff.
Yep.
And so he and I's thing, what we truly bonded on was watching Jeopardy together in the evenings.
I love that. And guys, listen, it's almost like we're right back at World War I anyway. I mean, what was that? 1914 and 1918. So almost 100 years ago when the first coronavirus happened. And then we're in the second coronavirus, and we got a war going on in Ukraine, and that's, kind of over. Anyway, it'll be a whole nother show. Point is, you are amazing. You are a woman after my own heart. I love you to life, and I'm so grateful that we've connected, and I'm grateful that you were able to come on the show. Please tell people where they can find you. And I don't want nobody saying, well, she's all the way in San Antonio. If you've never been, go visit, go to the Riverwalk, and then go get your waxes done. Okay, great. So tell us how you can meet, how people can connect and find you.
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. I also give out my personal cell number because I want to be accessible. And so my Facebook and my Instagram are both Texas Wax House, HAUS. And that a little tidbit is San Antonio has very deep Germanic and Hispanic roots. And so that's where house came from, is my mother is Hispanic and German. So that's where house came from. And you can find me at Texas Wax House all through, no special characters or anything like that. I'm there. And you're always free to message. I just answer questions. I don't even care if you're from Texas. If you say, I am wondering about yada, 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 ask me. You know, start
And
up the
what's the cell phone
conversation. I
number?
don't bite.
Give that cell phone number.
Yes, ma'am. You guys ready?
Yep.
830-391-6848. I'm going to say it again. 830-391-6848. But wait, there's more. I'm just kidding. I'm not an infomercial.
That's my thing. But
Oh,
my goodness. I love it. I love it. Is there really more though? Is there really more?
No.
Okay.
I'm always accessible. Of course, you guys know I'm always available. Oh, I do want to say my hours for my business, Texas Wax House, I'm open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I wanted it to be early morning and late evening because some people, of course, they go to work and stuff, so they want to come after work.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Cassidy, for being with us.
You are so welcome, Kiana.
This has been an amazing show. I have been just laughing and happy, and I'm just grateful for you. So, guys, listen, if you haven't gotten connected to the show, make sure you follow us on Instagram at The Connected Corner. Make sure you go to YouTube and subscribe and hit that bell so you can be notified when we go live. If you're looking to get connected to me, find me on Instagram at Tori Rose the Connector. I'm also on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and everything else as Tori Rose the Connector. If you are in a transition and wanting to get coached, needing a life coach or career coach, want to have some dialogue about your next step, want to make sure your next move is your best move, go ahead and send me an email at connect2Tori. That's connect2Tori@gmail.com. We have a number of exciting things going on right now, and I am personalizing plans just for you. We want to take you from surviving to thriving. I'm Tori Rose the Connector. Let's get connected. And Kiana, how can we find you?
You can find me thriving. No, you can find me on all social media platforms at Kiana B. Jones. And yeah, that is it. And if you're in LA County or Orange County or somewhere in LA right now, you can find me here for the next couple days.
Yes.
And so, yeah, thank you all for joining in. Hey, Gwennae, thanks for joining in. And hey, if you're watching on the replay, go back, answer the questions, let us know where you're watching from.
Mm-hmm.
And as always, thank you guys for tuning in to the Connected Corner. Make sure you stay connected, get connected, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Same time, same place. Good night. Peace.
Thank you guys so much. It was so lovely to be here.